With what the chief is saying this morning. Roop.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everybody. Well, the first thing I can tell you is that he's no longer Detective Nate Weekley. He is now Officer Weekley. The first order of business for the chief after investigating this particular Facebook post that you talk about was demoting his rank right away. He looked at the post. He took a very close look at it. And if you were to take a look at it, you'd understand why. The disturbing nature of what then Detective Nate Weekley posted on his own personal Facebook page actually had very inflammatory words. Some would say very racist words, calling the Black Lives Matter participants using an expletive right before describing them and then alluding to them being terrorists. So as you can well imagine, that inflammatory nature of that post caught the eye of the department, as it did so many people across Metro Detroit and the city of Detroit. And because of that, the first order of business, demoting this detective from detective down to officer. Now, he has not been fired. The National Action Network has asked for the firing of detective or officer now, Nate Weekley. The police chief says due process has to happen before anything like that ever was to occur.
Detective Weekley has been deappointed from the rank of detective down to a police officer, and he has been reassigned, and we have opened an internal investigation into this matter.
And part of that internal investigation is to take a very close look at whether or not he violated just ethics. Did he violate a code of conduct? You know, it all depends on that. It is definitely affected a lot of people. It's definitely offensive. It's definitely inflammatory. The question is, did he break any of his own code of conduct rules by posting on social media? Keep in mind, social media is a whole new animal in the last 10 years that before perhaps in the code of conduct wouldn't have been written. But, you know, there are moral clauses. There are standards by which officers are held that are higher than that of a regular citizen. The chief alluded to that. I should also mention another piece of breaking information for you. Now, we talked about an inflammatory comment from a police officer talking about Black Lives Matter, but then there are also members of the citizenry, just regular guys and gals, who have been posting some offensive things about police officers, even making threats. I can tell you that in 4 cases so far of people making threats against the Detroit Police Department, there are 4 arrests that have been made. And right now, I can also tell you that the chief's office is seeking help from the prosecutor's office to determine whether or not this could indeed be a felony, to threaten the life of a police officer. How serious were these threats? Were they just inflammatory? Were they actually threatening action? Those are the things the prosecutor's office is likely determining right now. So 2 big things happening right now that just broke behind us. Number 1, we're talking about Nate Weekley, that then detective who's been now demoted to police officer as an investigation continues, and 4 people who are now in police custody after making threats against officers in Detroit. Reporting live in Detroit, Roop Raj, Fox 2 News.
All right, Roop, I'm sure you'll keep an eye on the situation. Thanks for your report.